Did I entertain you at your party when you were 4 or something? I am also known as Big Bill Brody, singer, songwriter, bon vivant, and savior of the day, even if the day does not need saving. But don't worry, little fellow, I won't harm you. I'm also known sometimes in certain circles as the voice of God. What do you want? Fallout 3. And I'm actually all the voices, all the ghoul voices in Fallout 3, male ghoul voices. And in Fallout 4, I'm the voice of Radio Freedom. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I'm damn pleased to be here.
No reason to get cursy about it. You go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Hi. You guys, this microphone smells like fear. But I might be projecting, so, you know.
I'm Jan Johns, and I am a voice actor. Yeah. It feels like AA. It's like, hi, Jan. Just kidding. Hi, guys. And I've worked on Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, and then I really love some of the work we did, and if you guys get to the holotapes or the Survivor Stories, there are some really cool moments in there if you give it a chance. Also, I've been working on creature voices. I've been doing I did some creature voices for Fortnite, the Halloween thing, the fiends. I don't know if you've killed any of them, but when they get like slaughtered. So that's been kind of fun. And a couple things for Sesame Street this year. So it's like killing sounds and then Sesame Street.
Can you make that sound again? I heard that the other night from a regular patron here at the hotel while somebody was in the middle of an elevator party, so.
I'm glad to be here, and thank you guys for coming.
Hi gang, my name is Wes Johnson. I have been known to be wandering around places like the Shivering Isles as Sheogorath, Daedric Prince of Madness. And sometimes lurking around your rooms here at the hotel as Lucian the Chance of the Dark. I have discovered, however, if you lurk too long around some of the rooms, you end up walking away like Lucian from Apple Watch. So I've decided to, sorry, nobody been there? Spoilers? Too soon? Anyway. But done a lot of things as with Jan. I've done the Elder Scrolls, I've done Fallout 3 and 4, and I'll proudly say 76. I'm all the Protectron robots, including Mr. Fluffy, who is my favorite Protectron of all so far.
Mr. Fluffy.
Well, you make it sound so dirty, but yes, I do, Mr. Fluffy.
There should be like an action that goes with that.
Get a demonstration.
It's like the dance, the Mr. Fluffy, the arms are. But I love being here at MAGFest. I love doing voice work. It's basically, I think I can speak for everybody up here when I say we probably spent much of our childhoods alone with a tape recorder, doing voices into it so that we would have somebody other than ourselves to talk to. And as you grow older, you spend a lot of time alone in a booth with a disembodied voice on the other side saying, yeah, that's not what we're looking for at all. Could you try that again?
And then in your dreams, that voice is yours.
Very true.
That's very true.
So there have to be some questions out there. Anybody have any questions about? Oh, yes, we
Ask us our questions. We are not afraid.
How you doing?
What is your name?
Michael.
What's that?
McCarroll.
Say it again.
Michael McCarroll.
Michael.
Yes.
Everyone say hi, Michael.
Michael!
How you doing? There we go. Right. Question of the night. First one. How different is the voice acting market here versus LA? I know that some of you are more likely to answer that than others, but the voice acting market is really different. So, what's better here versus LA, and what's better in LA versus here?
Well, a lot of producers and jobs are in LA, so that makes it difficult. However, for me, my agent is in LA, so that, you know, as long as they're there and people are willing to work with technology like ISDN, things of that sort, you can pretty much work from anywhere. It's difficult, though, I've discovered, for people in LA to want to work on ISDN because they're like, you know, I need to be right there in the room with you so I can, you know, I can feel you and you can feel me. And I'm like, me too, motherfucker. But, you know, you should be able to voice from anywhere. And I think a lot of us up here have experience with that. Anybody else?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I currently live in Connecticut. I've always been in New England. And I've just recently was thinking about LA, and I was like, you know, it's great, and if you want to reach a certain level, that's really where you kind of need to be, because of like what Wes was saying, producers, especially in the LA area, it's still very old school, even though there's all kinds of technology, and I use it myself. They really like to have that one-on-one in-studio choice. So, but I've actually done, you know, the games, like when I did Dying Light, that was all recorded with LA actors except me. Because I had been working for Techland for several years doing other things, and they wanted me in the game. So they said, well, you use him no matter what. So, you know, that was great. But again, as a East Coast based talent, actually anywhere other than LA based, it's still possible to do the work. It's just a lot more involved, and you have to have
Connections.
And you know, it's just important.
Connections are harder when you're not there, because you've got people who you can go talk to them. And I make a joke about how they say you want to be personal and one-on-one, but to be honest, every working relationship is better when you get to know somebody, you've worked with them, and they get used to your work ethic, you can get along with them. I have clients that are here in this area who, when you walk in the room, it's like old friends. It's taken years and years to get to the point in LA where there are people who will use me via ISDN because they know your body of work, they trust what you can do. It's just harder to build that level of trust at a distance.
I would say that in terms of, I had a thought and it just went, meow. It's not medication, I promise.
Could be.
It was that doing voiceover here, having started here and having a lot of work that I've gotten a chance to be a part of here, that's what keeps me going there. Because that gives me the ability to audition there, because that's basically what I do. I audition and I meet with people. Sometimes I book something, but most of the time I audition and cry and take workshops. Yeah, but also the cool thing, and I know that you guys have started like a group of voice actors and stuff. It's like you find your group of weirdos, and there's a ton of weirdos in LA. So I'm
Wait a
normal.
minute, we have a ton of weirdos here and we're very proud of
That's
it.
right. That's true. So if you can find your group of weirdos, no matter where you are, it just depends on what you're in it for. If you're in it for like, I want to be famous, I want to be known, you can do that here, you can do that there. It's just how hard are you willing to work, and how hard are you willing to make those connections? Because what Wes said about making connections is so much the case. It's relationships. It's business.
You can do it from anywhere. Nowadays, you don't have to actually travel to the place. You can, as long as you make those connections and be personable. I have to recuse myself any further than that because I am too blessed and charmed. When they called me to do the voice that I've done, that I'm most known for in these circles, and I was wondering, you know, okay, where do I got to go to Moda? They said, well, it's here. It's right on my bus line as I'm on my way to work, so I don't have to go anywhere at all. It's very convenient for me. It all worked out very well. So I can't speak to having to be somewhere else.
What he's basically trying to say is it's good to be Mike.
I'm a damn lucky guy. So I can't speak to the vicissitudes you've encountered.
Hold on a second. vicissitude.
I had that operation when I was younger. Oh, yes.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Mike. Hi, what's your name?
I am also Michael. How do you guys warm up?
Well, first of all, hi, Mike.
Hi.
And how do we warm up? Well, I usually skin somebody and crawl inside.
Every one of us would have made that joke, whichever one of us has been.
I talk to myself. No, well, I mean, before a show, I try to, just do some things. Something, anything. Don't start.
He does that on the bus, too. It really freaks
Oh,
everybody
yeah,
out.
they don't like it. I'll bust out into God Bless America, but just don't start cold. It's bad for you.
I can attest to that because I have started cold many times and it's never worked out. You don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm sure that there are vocal exercises that you could do. I've seen a lot of actors do that. I personally have never done it, but I know lots of people who do. I basically just, depending on the voice I'm going to be expected to do, I do different things. So if it's something I'm going to be speaking, if I have to speak in a very low tone, I try to talk in a squeaky voice for about a half an hour, if I can. That really does this weird effect to your vocal cords that it makes you suddenly be able to lower the pitch of your voice for some big period of time. But if you're going to do other things, the best things to do are avoid caffeine, avoid drinking, avoid smoking, and, well, like I said, I'm sure there's other vocal warm-ups. Maybe
Run your range.
Lots of room temperature water.
Yes.
Not cold water, not hot tea. Room temperature water is the best thing, really, and stay well hydrated. The caffeine, as you mentioned, as George is mentioning, as he's slugging it down right now.
You did.
Oh, okay. What is vodka? Vodka.
No, it's smoky.
Smoky.
Remember Chef's advice, gargle with old razor blade.
No, it's coffee. It's coffee.
Well, it's a diuretic, and it does dry you out. And when your vocal cords dry out, it makes it much tougher to, you start getting scratchy, things get rough. Unfortunately, we're in a position in this world where caffeine's kind of important to stay alive when you're driving, when you're pulling double shifts. I work at the Capitals as the arena announcer for the Washington Capitals hockey team. And there are many days we have a game during a weekday where I have to go out and I'm doing a day job for like 8 to 9 hours before that, and then I come in and do an 8 to 9 hour shift there. And if it weren't for a little coffee or caffeine gum, I wouldn't be alive today. So, I do a lot of water down there in the penalty box. I bring like 7 bottles. I drink maybe 4 a night while I'm in the penalty box, even with the caffeine, and try to keep the voice limber, because when you're doing a game like that as opposed to a video game, there are such things as hazard pay for video games when you're doing deaths and you're being mauled, and okay, here's the thing, you're going to fall into a meat compactor, but it's really slow and go. So and then they're going to want 400 takes of that until they get the right one, so you can really rag your voice out. Lots of room temperature water and practice. For me, though, it's a little prayer.
I do something called straw phonation. I have a bag of straws. And not that straws are cool, because no straws kills sea life, so I take it very seriously. And I know they're being outlawed, so I'm going to have my own straw one day that's going to be reusable and hopefully clean, so I won't have any more lesions on my body. That's a joke. That wasn't real.
Oh, okay.
This was taught to me by a voice teacher. Her name is Mindy Pack, and she works with Dr. Reina Gupta at the Voice Clinic in LA. And basically, whenever you do something like, so if you're screaming like, what do you say when you unleash the what?
Unleash the fury!
Right, so after he does that, he can do a round of, wait, hold on, let's just say, yes!
They're like, I didn't believe you, dog. I didn't feel the fury.
It's a little pitchy, You can take your straw and you go, sounds crazy, but it relaxes your larynx and it makes everything better. Yeah, here, pass it down. Wait,
I knew that Jan would have a real answer.
But it helps. So if you guys get little straws or reusable straws, because we want to save the planet, what's left of it, and we don't want to add to that garbage patch in the middle of the Pacific, which I'm really insanely upset about.
Should we all try?
Yeah, let's all try it. So,
What are you
Michael,
doing?
try it.
You're humming?
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
you said it, right?
Full warm up like this. You can do, say like if you're learning a song, like, you know.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
You can do the whole thing first. You can do this in your car. You can do this in the subway.
This is the trick. This is like that chanting against the wall.
You go all the way up. All the way up.
I want to know what the people who are passing by the room when they're hearing this are thinking is going on in here.
Lots of good things are happening.
So for that, do you breathe in? Do you breathe in or out?
No, you want to puff up your cheeks. Yes. It sounds good. Yeah, so play with that. I mean, it's called straw phonation. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube you can find, and it can be very helpful and keep you from injuring yourself because you don't want to do that.
Everybody at the restaurants downstairs are going to be like, what the hell is everybody doing?
Hey, they're blowing through coffee stores, man.
Well, thank you, Mike. Let's hear from. Okay.
Thank you.
Was there another? Okay. Yeah, that's. What is your name, sir?
I'm Alex.
Alex. Hey.
And I have a question specifically for George.
All right.
So, because the credits page on this game is terrible and old, I was curious as to what voice roles did you take when you did Majesty, the fantasy role-playing game?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now what? I missed some of that question, unfortunately. You asked me about Majesty, the role-playing game.
Oh,
Yeah?
sorry. What voice roles? Because it just listed you as voice actor.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in Majesty, I was basically the voice of the royal advisor, which was this Sean Connery thing. So I was like, Your Majesty, we have to get rid of the peasants. They're revolting. Something like that. That was the voice of that. But I also did several of the other ones. I did like a wizard. Oh my spell book is missing. Oh, what should I do? There was a dwarf. As my wife's beard is even more attractive.
It's got a little Walter Brennan in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the other one? Oh, I was the rogue, because rogues are so cool. Oh, show me the gold. Bath. What else? But that's in what in my mind is my golden age of voiceovers, because that's when smaller little companies were all over the country. And that company that did that was literally 10 minutes from where I lived. And I had just started into doing voiceovers, and I had approached them and said, hey, do you hire actors? And they're like, we need some. So it was just that kind of perfect timing. But that's still, people still remember me from that, if they're old enough. Thank you so much for asking about that. That was cool.
Royal Advisor was my absolute favorite voice in that game.
Really?
Hell yeah, no, I play it all the time. I love it.
Yeah, people still play it. You can get it on Steam, and it's called Majesty, the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. So it's worth checking out. Anyway, I'm done advertising myself.
Thank you very much.
Very much. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Blake.
Hi, Blake.
So I hope you don't mind, but I have a few questions. First off, not sure if you remember, but I was here last year, and
We kept asking where Blake was.
I was doing impersonations of you, and
Oh no.
and so I wanted me to impersonate Jan, but I couldn't because I was sick.
Oh.
And so your advice was to have someone in the crowd kick me in the nads. And like 6 people from the crowd got up at once. What does it feel like to have that much power?
Well, up until now, I didn't realize there were so many volunteers. But 6 isn't really a lot when you have a room full. How many people here would like to kick him in the nads tonight?
Maybe later.
Let's get him, Owen. It's a long...
You got to be careful. Those unexpected nad parties can get really rough. So, tell me, which was your favorite character that you like to do? I'd like to hear an impression.
Sadly, I haven't seen him since the first MAGFest I came to, but my favorite was, I can't remember his name right now, but the voicer for the sniper from...
Oh, yeah, John Patrick Lowry, yes.
Yeah, he was my favorite.
Yeah, do you do his voice?
I'm not a crazy gunman, Dad, I'm an assassin.
Very nice. Now, there will be Sunday at noon, we're having the video game voice actor workshop. You came to that last time, right?
Yeah, I've come to it every time I've been to MAGFest. I just haven't been fortunate enough to get picked for it.
Well, and you know what? You keep going, you keep trying. The fact of the matter is, you do what you do because you love it, not because you're going to get paid. And you put enough time and passion and energy into it, eventually you can get paid. We were doing voices long before anyone ever offered us money for it. And I don't know about you guys, but the first time somebody offered me money for it, I was like, what? Really? All right.
Were you stoned when this happened?
Very much so. Very much so. It's only 6. I could buy more weed, man. That was yeah, come on out. All of us are going to be there. I believe that a guy named Craig Klein will be there. We've got a guy named John Judy might join us. We're going to have a lot of instructors to help bring some new ideas into it on Sunday at noon. So I know there's going to be some folks out there going to be hurting after Saturday night. Hell, if you come to my midnight party tonight, you'll be hurting tomorrow. What's new? It's MAGFest, right? So, what was the other question?
My next question was actually partially related to what you were just talking about, which is working for free.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No, do it till you, it depends.
I actually wanted to ask you, what is your advice if you wanted to work on a game mostly by yourself, maybe a small team of like 1 or 2 people, free game, and voice acting all the lines in it yourself, or at least most of them?
Well, I mean, are they asking you to do all the different voices?
It would mostly be something I would want to do.
Well, I mean, if you would want to do it, you give them as many options as you can, and they would choose what they would like to do. I mean, you can't like lock them in a room until you force them to accept you for all the voices, because if that were the case, all of us would be on the post office wall right now. But
I used to work for the post office.
The biggest challenge, and one that I always love trying to do, is to create characters that are different enough so that somebody playing doesn't know it's the same character, the same actor, and it doesn't damage the immersion. I think you can only do as many voices in one game as you can do and keep it. Well, they have to be unique, but immersion is a huge word.
Separation.
Immersion is a huge word. If you're into something and you suddenly realize it's the same voice doing this and that, doesn't it break you out of it a little bit? Suddenly you're not looking at the character anymore. You're not looking at a storyline. You're thinking about what happened behind it. And as an actor, your job is to make that storyline everything and to make it believable so that they believe you are that character. And if you can play multiple characters and not have anybody know that it's you, that's a great grand challenge, and it's one to aspire to. But if you feel like, and this is a judgment call for yourself, if you're in a small group, in a small community, and you feel like, well, I can do these 6 characters and I feel they're all different, go for it. But if you don't believe that they are completely different, they set themselves apart, and if you're not completely lost in the character yourself, building it, don't attempt it. You know?
That's true. But let me say something real quick, if I may. Even if if you're able to separate them so nobody knows it's the same voice doing it, that's cool too, and that's a real challenge. But even if people know it's the same person and they still separate the characters.
But do they?
That's
they have to buy it, yeah.
Well, yeah. Just I mean, think of Mel Blanc and Paul Frees and Paul Winter.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I mean, you knew it was them because you just heard them coming through. Yet Bugs Bunny's Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam's Yosemite Sam.
That's true.
Same thing.
Yeah, they play off each other very well.
But you know it's him.
I think it's a case-by-case basis, but if they want to let you go for it and you feel you're up for it, go for it. George, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If you're first starting out and you know these guys or you know them enough, and it's going to be a very small game, and they're just trying to get, sorry, I'm not speaking in my microphone, they're just trying to get the game made, it's one of those things that I'd have to balance it out and say, well, okay guys, you want me to do all the voices, and I know it's because you want to save money, I get that. So if you're going to sell the game, that's one thing. If they're planning to sell it, if it's going to be free, if they're just making it to make it, everything's kind of, you know, on the table here. I say this with all this hesitation because I do my own free projects. They're my projects. I would never ask another voice actor to work for nothing, but sometimes that happens, you know. It's really, you have to make that on an individual basis judgment. But if I was just starting and I had no work under my belt at all, and you could do something where you could get your voice onto a finished product,
yeah.
I would do that. But
resume building, portfolio building, demo building, those are all very important things.
Mm-hmm. It's like doing an open mic if you're into performing. You know, go out and do it first and get going.
Mike and I used to do stand-up comedy back in the day, and no one paid us a dime.
That's right. We'd go anywhere there was a mic that was open.
All right, and one more because we got a big long line.
Yeah, the last one was just, could you give me your favorite character, the favorite line from your favorite character that you have played? In their voice, of course.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I got one in mind.
All right.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Duncan Fisher. Welcome to Solaris 7. Let the games begin. I did.
Well, the one that's got me the most attention is, what do you want, smooth skin? Yeah, that's got to stand out there.
Well, that calls for a celebration. Cheese for everyone! Wait, don't strike that. Cheese for no one. That's just as good a celebration if you don't like cheese.
Nuka-Cola, so refreshing and delicious.
And if I could interrupt you now at that point, there's a gentleman back there. Fred, come up here. The line I just did was Shea Gorath. And Fred Zeleny was a dev at Bethesda Softworks and one of the writers of Shea Gorath's lines. And Fred, you were telling me that there was a little story you wanted to tell about that?
Yeah, so I worked on, I had the pleasure of writing for 3 of you for Fallout 3, and Moira Brown is still one of my most beloved characters, so thank you, Jan. But on my last day working in Bethesda before I left, it was about partway into Skyrim, and I was working on the Shea Gorath quest, and I realized, you know, there needs to be something just a little sillier that you can do with Shea Gorath. Sillier and deadlier, that's about the intersection of the Venn diagram for him.
Remember, silly but dangerous.
And that circle is a bottomless pit. So I wrote a riddle contest you could agree to with Shea Gorath, which inevitably led to the player's death. He warned you ahead of time, you realize I cheat, right? This is a bad idea and you shouldn't do it, well, let's do it then. And of course, his only riddle that he asked you was just, something simple. What is the opposite of a chicken? And there were 5 answers or so, and they were all different plays on possible things like, oh, a brave person. Oh no, an egg. Oh, someone who doesn't cross roads. Like, that sort of thing. And no matter what story, what answer you picked, Sheagorth had a reason why. Oh no, you see, that's not right. This chicken was actually very brave, made a courageous little nugget. And of course, if you lost, he would teleport you over top of the tallest mountain, and you got a great view of the world as you fell to your death. And so as a thing to throw into the game for the last day before I left the company, this was fun, but then I decided to just get weird with it. If you reloaded and picked the different answers, or picked all the answers and found out that they were all wrong, another answer came up that said, wait, there isn't an answer, which of course Sheagorth was delighted by and had you killed again. But I made one right answer that could only be gotten if you went into the console or the editor and set a particular flag to true, and I think the remnants of that are still in the code for anyone who wants to go to the editor and look for things. And if you set that to true and picked that answer, Sheagorth would say, well, no, of course, because, wait, did you just rewrote reality to win a riddle contest. And well done, you, that sort of thing. And it was my favorite little parting thing, and I was sad it never made it into the game. But in my mind, it is always being voiced by you, Wes.
So, what had to do something with that whole thing? You've rewritten reality right here. Why'd you go and do that, Fred?
That's my job.
So everybody, give a big round of applause to Fred Dyer. Fred is now working in Sweden.
Yeah, Massive Entertainment in Sweden.
Massive Entertainment in Sweden. So see, you can travel the world working in video games, and maybe not as well as Fred or as Debonair, but you can do it. And what is your name, sir?
My name's Andy.
Andy.
Oh yeah, just as a quicker line of questioning, aside from water, what's your favorite thing to eat or drink after a long day of recording?
After recording?
After recording.
Well, all bets are off.
Just a little gin, vodka, bourbon, schnapps.
Oh man, this guy's living the wild life. I mean, truthfully, it's really only peyote.
How about that too?
I don't have anything other because I was going to say, can you eat vodka? But you can't. So, and peyote sounds awesome.
Later?
Later, yes, of course.
During the autograph session, we'll do peyote.
It'll be good.
Well, all right.
If I can remember to write my name, like,
And really, with peyote, it's how it's prepared.
After a day of recording, I don't need nothing, baby. I am flying.
I'm really surprised, Jan, that you didn't say like lemongrass or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am. Basically, I used to drink heavily. Now I don't. So basically, after a day of recording, I usually just have either coffee or seltzer, really. I mean, I find for me personally, seltzer works good because it seems to help clear out my throat, you know. Because depending on what you're doing, it can be pretty stressful. So, you know, it depends on what you did. If you did something like with a lot of yelling and screaming, like he was saying, you know, it's like go sound like you're burning, sound like you're on fire. That takes a lot out of your throat, and so you don't want anything too harsh. You know, as much as party wants to go, yeah, let's party. The rest of it is like, no.
Not all vocal work is stressful.
Have you tried throat calm?
What?
Throat Calm. It's called Throat Calm, and it's by a company called Bo Iron. And I discovered it one day when I was looking for Throat Calm, and it's these little tiny white pills, and you put one under each side of your tongue, and it just melts there. And if you're starting to go hoarse, it has helped me recover like that.
Are those the 3 P's, Alex? Are those the 3 P's, Alex?
No, people.
I want to
Alex Trebek, he's a shill.
Oh,
never mind.
Jeffrey. I wanted to say one
I
thing.
love Alex Trebek.
During a session, I never stop eating, and that's actually the truth. I'll eat apples the entire time, and I'll drink water, and I'll do the straw phonation thing. So I feel like after a session, hopefully you're not hoarse, because the goal is to be able to still go home and audition, or go home and work the next day, you know.
Or go home and take peyote.
Yeah, exactly. But it seriously is a constant management to be kind to your vocal folds, because if you're kind to your folds are kind to you.
You know, you hear it referred to as the vocal cords all the time, but somehow when you call it the vocal folds, it just seems dirty and wrong.
And there is no food or drink that's a panacea for stress on your voice. Just gotta take it easy. And eat right and drink right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Used to be hoagies for me, by the way. Go get a steak and cheese with egg on it, big hoagie and some slaw.
I like an onion.
Can't do that anymore, but it used to be awesome.
With arsenic sauce.
I was waiting for you guys. I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
This question for Wes, since he's rocking the attire.
This?
All that.
Oh, yeah.
How fun is it to work as the PA announcer for the hockey team?
I've always loved it. I mean, I started off as a fan. I was the PA announcer for the Bullets, then the Wizards, and then I took a year off and I became the PA announcer for the Capitals, and I'm in the middle of my 19th year right now with the Caps. So it took me 18 years to get this bad boy the championship ring.
I saw on your Twitter, all the excitement that was at the arena, because last year I was like, oh, it's the PA announcer for the hockey team.
What's really funny is people don't know, if they know me from the video games, they don't always know that I do this, but I've actually used, when I do Unleash the Fury, one night I completely unleashed it in the voice of Shea Gorath, and nobody knew.
No.
It was just me. Although earlier this year, Bethesda did come out before Fallout 76 and let the Vault Boy ride the Zamboni at the Olympia Ice Resurfacer. And as he was riding around on there, I was doing a bunch of different voices from Fallout. Fox was there, Mo Cronin was out there talking about things, you know, had the Silver Shroud. Yeah, all these different characters. Silver Shroud fan back there. But it was so cool to be able to do those things. And what's really funny is there might have, if somebody listening who still didn't connect the dots were going, you know, that guy almost sounds like the real guy doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad watches the hockey game, so...
That was cool.
Yeah, it's the guy, the PA announcer. I'm like, oh yeah, my dad watches the games.
It really pisses off people who in Pittsburgh who are fans of like the Elder Scrolls or Fallout or something like that when they suddenly realize that I'm the announcer for the Capitals and they're like, well, fuck shit.
Well, what was it with Puck Pittsburgh?
What's that?
And what was it with Pittsburgh? It was Puck Pittsburgh?
Puck Pittsburgh,
there
yes.
We go.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Cheers. Hello there.
Hi there. Louder.
What is your name?
My name's Carly.
Hi, Carly.
So kind of.
You got a little something right there.
Yeah, it's kind of stuck. I don't know how I'm gonna get it off.
It's awesome.
But kind of a two-part question. So coincidentally, I'm a student here in DC at GW, and the spring sports need a PA announcer. And seeing as I am interested in the voice world, I thought that might be a fun thing to do. But also, how do you find time and space and quiet to do this in college? Because I'm lucky I only have one roommate, but I've been using my pillows as muffling, you know, areas. So I kind of set it up in the corner and just build a...
Now, are you recording or are you just practicing?
So doing little comic dubs, stuff like that, recording voice lines or just singing parts for things. And it's worked out pretty well, but if I can sneak into the music practice room.
Sing loud, sing proud, orate as loudly as you possibly can. You are in college. Irritating your roommate is a rite of passage. Yeah, I don't think that you have to worry so much about finding a quiet space. Truthfully, the louder you are, the more the roommate will leave and the quiet space will find you.
It's like you're practicing a bagpipe, is it?
But I can sneak down because they do have really nice, like, dead rooms for the music students to practice in, so...
Well, get yourself, if you're recording, get yourself an SE reflection filter. Because what that does, when you're in a room and you're recording, and we can talk more about this on Sunday at the workshop, but in a room where you've got echoes bouncing off the wall, it comes right in your mic and it creates that sound of, like, you know, the echoey space. A reflection filter goes around your microphone. You can even fake one by going out and buying a waffle mattress, getting a box, and cutting it and filling the box, putting that over your microphone, and it'll give you a little bit of a dead space. So if you can't afford to buy an SE reflection filter, build yourself one, and it will deaden the room a bit. It will not annoy your roommate any less, but at least your recordings will sound awesome, except for your roommate back like, oh my God, shut up!
Have you heard of a belt box?
I think so, because I do choral music, so a lot of it is like not quiet, cute singing. So finding stuff to be quieter or practice in public would be.
Because you can buy one online and you just put it over your mouth, and it reminds me of my childhood, but that's another story. But you can like try different sounds out, and you know, because it's not just, you know, being disruptive, but it's also like, am I gonna sound good doing this? You know, so then you can kind of be brave if you don't have that privacy.
Instead of shoving a pillow over your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds, yeah.
So you should check it out and see. But I vote for, if you build your own box, make it out of real waffles, because then if you get hungry, it's kind of, you know.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I would go on YouTube and look for a how to make this box video. That's don't use waffles.
You know what I do? I mutter to myself all the time. What am I doing over here? I just keep vocalizing.
Is your roommate here at MAGFest?
No, she's not. She's up in New Jersey, but
She's where?
in Jersey.
In Jersey. What's she doing there?
Home for break. We don't go back.
Yeah. Would you like us to call her and tell her to let you do whatever you need to do in your room?
She would let me. She supports the voice thing, but it's just more. We're on the first floor, and the door is pretty loud, so you can kind of hear the hallway noise.
Yeah.
It's like mostly what I'm worried about.
Finding a dead space and a quiet space to record is very challenging. I have my recording studio in the basement, and I have, you know, everyone who's, you know, my family's upstairs, and they all have to stop walking when I start to record. Turn off the air conditioner so you're not hearing, you know, air conditioner or heat.
The shininess of the walls for the acoustics.
Exactly right, you know, and the ghosts.
I always warn them, like, if I'm home, I'll go in my closet, because all the clothes kind of create, you know, like a dead.
You need a booth.
Be like, hey, I'm about to scream, don't freak out. Like.
2 words, whisper room. Hugely, I mean, it would be a big expense in college. Getting it into your dorm would be gigantic pain in the ass. But a whisper room would be very nice.
Also, a microphone of 416 is great when you're in a space that's really noisy, although it's mainly used in commercial. But, I mean, lots of people love it. With female voices, it can be a little bit like sibilancy. I don't know if that's really a word, but but they use it all the time, because if you're out in the field somewhere, you can get a pretty clean read. So that might be something maybe to look into one day to upgrade to, if you want.
And we'll get more into equipment and such Sunday. You're going to come to the workshop?
Yes.
All right, excellent. We'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have 15 minutes remaining, folks. So, question, please.
If I may, Wes, if I may, I'd just like to bring up a little pop quiz real quick.
You guys didn't know there would be a quiz?
There's two ways to do this. It's just an experiment, social experiment. Won't take more than 20 seconds. People can all make a pop sound. You can either do it my way, or you can do it with your finger. Now, if everyone would do that in their own individual way, all at one time, without laughing, we will have recreated a moment that George Carlin did a long, long time ago, and it's a really interesting sound. I'd just love to do that if we all could. Can everybody pop once? Let's have a practice.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
That didn't go on long enough. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Here you go, Brett.
Very nice. You know, by the way, folks.
Repeatedly. Oh, again and again and again. Oh, okay. We need Lawrence Welking.
Yeah, I feel like we're doing some kind of little mermaid thing here.
Well, you asked me, okay? That's for you. That's one for my buddy. All right.
I think that was actually pretty lovely, although I do have to say, looking out into the crowd, folks, it's better if you use your own finger. I'm just saying.
You can always learn to go.
Yes, sir.
Get the pure.
Howdy.
Thank you.
We know your name, but state it for the crowd.
My name's Cody Jones.
Yay!
Hi, Cody Jones.
So my question this year is, have you ever used your voice for something nefarious?
Something nefarious?
Oh. Almost everything.
Genuinely nefarious?
Depends on how much you want to share.
Well, I used
It's
to.
being recorded,
It's not
so.
nefarious.
I did political commercials that I wasn't proud of. But that's I don't do those anymore because I really started to get to me. I was like, this is BS. You know, if it's somebody I've supported or whatever, that's one thing. But I've turned down a couple things for either something that I thought was a bogus product or, you know, like I said, a political thing. But I don't think I ever caused harm, not intentionally.
I did a hypno recording for an insect mosquito eradication program. It didn't really work, and it was all in my imagination anyway, so I'm kind of not real proud of it. But
She must be very busy.
and actually, I did a real good take on it. But
I used to always, when I see a number I didn't know on the telephone, I let the old man answer. And when they try to sell you something, normally they're on a clock, and the longer they have to wait, the more answer you can hear them getting. So I'd keep this going for a while, and as I feel they're ready to go, I'd say, if you have a few moments left to talk, I'd like to discuss the Lord. Is that nefarious? I don't know.
I might have voiced for a strip club at one point in time. So, but you know, everybody needs a job.
Yes, it's ladies' night.
I don't think some of us could do that job.
What did you say?
Hold on, let me.
Hi guys, it's your favorite blank girl. I'm here to tell you all about the sexy surprises we have going on
For Christmas in July or something. And then there was like a legs and eggs buffet, which makes me want to throw up in my mouth. Because I don't want eggs in between legs. Does anyone? I mean, that's too much, like, sulfur.
Next person, quickly, please.
A lot of people seemed very excited by what you were saying earlier, and then you just, boom. It was like gravity just, grabbed them and pulled them down, so.
You know, I call that move the Boner Crusher 5000. Works every time.
Well, is that nefarious enough for you, Cody Jones?
It made me feel things, so I think so.
All right, next guest.
Hello, my name is Gage.
Hi.
I know you guys act in the booth, but have you guys acted on stage or film, or like how is it different between booth and stage?
It depends. It's all different. In the booth, you're having to be able to use your voice to convey movement and sound with the sound. When you're on stage, movement is big, but your movements are larger. What you're saying and how it comes across is always larger because you're reaching out to a whole crowd. And when you're working in film, it becomes very small and insular. It can be just a small look with the eye. So it's really just a matter of degrees. They're all very related. It's all acting, but it is just levels, I think.
I was going to say just the opposite about small and big. When you're on a set, on a stage, it's all about everybody coordinating. When you're in the booth, it's just you being finite.
People say even in the booth I'm chewing the scenery, so that's okay.
Well, yeah, but the difference in it's you alone in the booth, unless you're doing a set with a bunch of musicians or other people.
Right.
And on the stage, a sound stage, if you're doing action, that's everybody coordinating. So there's the difference,
That is a difference, yes.
I think having stage acting training and experience can also help with mocap because I've only gotten to do a tiny bit, but I have some friends that do quite a bit, and I've heard a lot of people speak about it because what they want is it's kind of come full circle, really, in a lot of ways. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, well, I'm just, I lost in the past year and a half about 186 pounds, so I might actually be able to fit a mocap suit these days. I would love to wear a mocap suit just to, around town. That would be awesome. There's nothing like a leotard with a million balls on it to make you feel nice. George?
Yes?
How do you feel about mocap suits? Or the question that H put to us?
The other, I did one film that was terrible and it never got released, and I'm thankful for that.
Oh, damn.
And I played a mailman, which was funny because I was a mailman at the time.
I'm a USPS. I got regruntled. So.
The only other thing I've done a lot of radio plays at work, and those are fun, similar to voice acting for games, but those are almost always done in a group. Because nowadays they do them as sort of a retro thing. It's like, oh, this is how they did it in the old days. But I've done some of the modern stuff too. There's plenty of audio drama being produced now. You can go on the internet and find tons of it. It's done in podcasts and just other forms. But that's the other kind of stuff I've done. And that's really fun if you can do it. One of the great things I always liked about voice acting is you don't have to memorize things. As long as you can read and make it sound like you're not reading, that's fantastic. That's not something everyone can do, but it's something you can learn, I think. And Wes, just to give you a heads up, I am getting really close to the time I have to scoot.
Well, we're actually close to the time we're all going to have to scoot, so tell us where you're going to be tonight and for the rest of the panels, guys. Let me just say this. I know we have a long line here, but we're going to be doing Voice-A-Palooza tomorrow from 2 to 4. We'll take some questions there. And also there's the voice acting workshop, and we'd love to have you all come. George, where are you going to be tonight?
Tonight I'm just going across the hall to MAGFest Versus, that game show. I've actually been the voice of Buff Studhorse for the last few years, and so I'm going to be reprising that role, but also they're doing a Star Fox sort of parody homage, and I'm the voice of they call him General Pepper in this. It's like, oh my gosh, Star Fox, we have to get Buff Studhorse out of the solar system because he's clogging the pipes. I don't know. I haven't seen the script, so but that's what I gotta go to.
And you'll be at Voice-A-Palooza tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And Sunday you will be at the video game voice acting workshop.
Yes.
At noon.
Yes.
And how many of you guys will be there? Excellent. All those out there who are non-committal. Mike, where are you going to be?
Let's see, I'll be with the session and right after.
comes this, right?
Right, we're doing an autograph session downstairs at 8:30. So if anyone wants to come down there, we're going to be down there for an hour. We can chat. You got questions, come on down. We can sign things. We'll have headshots that you can buy and get signed, and or you can we'll sign flesh. We're not proud.
You can take a picture if it won't break your camera.
Now, George was going to be with us today at this signing, but because he's going across the hall to do MAGFest Versus, he will be joining me tomorrow morning at 11:30 for the autograph session. So if you're looking for George to sign something, he'll be down there signing tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Wes. I appreciate that.
Sure, yeah. And where are you going to be, Jen?
When am I going to be when?
You know, like the rest of MAGFest.
Okay. Well, there's a straight jacket with my name on it, but I call it my hug jacket, so I'll be in that. No, I'm sorry. It's a very specific humor that's not very funny. I know.
So you're at Voice of Palooza.
Voice of Palooza.
Who's coming to Voice of Palooza? Now see, that was better, yeah.
I'm good about that.
And you'll be doing the video game acting workshop.
Yes, I'm doing that. And then I'm doing the thing with you after this, the signing thing.
The autograph session, Jan will be there. And
but I don't have any headshots for you to sign, so I'll sign flesh.
She'll sign your flesh?
Or I'll sign my own flesh.
She will not give you then said flesh, just letting you know. And tonight at midnight, and I believe it's right here in this very room, is going to be the Late Night Madness party. I'm going to show for the first and only time anywhere, because it's going into festivals. My son Max has an animation that's stop motion.
He's so
that he has done. So we're going to be giving you a sneak peek of that, and we're going to be taking questions and answers at that point. And then after about an hour, I'm just going to say a sort of a secret tradition takes place. And if you're up for it, we'll see who can hang. So that'll be late night tonight in this room.
Is there a cookie involved?
A cookie? Is that code?
Yeah, I was asking for a friend. It's a weird thing.
Everybody, George is blowing across the MAGFest Versus. Everybody give a big huzzah to George. George, we'll see you soon, sir. Thank you very much. And come tonight. We're going to be showing things on the big screen. We're going to be having some fun. We'll play some old ditties. Mike, you going to come?
Oh, I'll be there.
Mike, you want to play a song for us on the way out and then play for us tonight?
What you got a selection?
Anybody want a suggestion of what they want to hear as we file out of here? Country Roads, you know that?
Country Road? I got a better country song for you. Well, no, I mean, that's a good country song. I love that song. But here's a country song for you.
And he's sensitive because he's the man who killed John Denver.
It's a really nice country song. And by the way, the rest of the time when I'm not somewhere in one of the events or something, I'll be lurking behind partitions. Now, I mean, I'll really do Country Road if you want, but I'd rather do one of mine. This is about transitions, folks, from one way to another. Well, there's lots of talk these days about changing the old ways, right on down to what is or ain't a sin. But no matter what awaits when I reach those pearly gates, there's no way that I ain't a-getting in. Because I'm taking my shotgun to heaven. Nobody's gonna take it from me. Yes, I'm taking my shotgun to heaven. Me and St. Peter disagree. So bury me with extra ammunition. You never know, I might need to reload. And please don't bother with a cremation unless you want that sucker to explode. forgiven. But just in case I better bring my knife or my wife, 'cause I'm taking my shotgun to heaven. When a brand new day and glory had dawned. Yes, I'm taking my shotgun to heaven. I'll be young and ready for the great beyond. Yes, I'll be young and ready for the great beyond.
We'll be back in this room at midnight. In the meantime, come see us downstairs in the autograph hall. Look forward to talking to each one individually. Sorry about the guys left in the line. My apologies. We'll catch you soon.
God bless you, everyone.